Hi guys, my name's Eddie. I'm an electrician. I've been doing electrical since May of 2015. I just wanted to show you guys some of the power tools that I've accumulated in my career. I'll start out with the first two power tools that I picked up as a residential apprentice doing custom remodels. These are the standard M12s from Milwaukee, the drill and driver with two 1.5 amp hour batteries. Paid $140 for these guys and a carrying case and charger. Definitely worth the investment. They did all I need for about a year and a half, working for a contractor, not doing anything especially crazy. About 6 months after getting these guys, I was tired of cutting in switches and outlets by hand, so I decided to get myself a hacksaw. Came with a battery and speaker. Definitely love the tunes. Little guys, not especially crazy, but for the size, the weight, and the fact that it's only a 12-volt tool, I'm very happy with it, and especially because it was free. I bought this drill in 2016 when I first invested into the M18 line. It's the second gen fuel, and it gave me no issues throughout its entire life. I would still have it today if it wasn't for somebody who seems to have knocked it over or thrown it onto the ground, onto concrete. I don't know how hard they must have thrown it, but regardless, it's toast. I really wish that I would have been able to retire this guy the right way, but unfortunately it is what it is. My impact was stolen. Once again, a second gen fuel. I was putting up a light. I turned my back, and when I went to grab my gun, it wasn't there. So unfortunately, this is what I have to show for it. It's gone. Fortunately for me, both of these two were replaced. This was my next investment into the M18 line. It's the Surge Impact from Milwaukee. I bought it on kind of an impulse, but I'm glad that I did. It doesn't offer quite as much power as the others. However, it is more enjoyable, and I feel it was a little bit easier. Unfortunately, I've ran this thing hard and through all sorts of different materials, so it's gunked up over and over, and I've cleaned it out over and over, and I think it's just time to retire it. So I've started to use my backup drill. And I set this guy aside because sometime soon here I'm going to completely just take him apart and clean everything, and probably build a little box or something for him so that he can live out the rest of his days in peace. I picked this guy up next, kind of just as a recommendation from a journeyman that I was working with. He told me that when he picked one up, he couldn't believe that he didn't pick one up sooner, so I jumped on it just to see what he was talking about, and I completely understand. If you're a Sparky and you don't have one, I definitely, absolutely 100% believe that you should pick one up. You don't necessarily have to have a super top of the line one, but just any multi-tool will definitely make your life a whole lot easier when you're cutting in, say, switches, outlets. You know, sometimes there's a little bit of something behind that you got to get through. You can also use it at home. So definitely invest in a multi-tool if you can. I picked up this rotary hammer because I was doing a bunch of exterior conduit, and it just made sense for me. I was tired of lugging around a corded roto hammer. It was kind of clunky, not very comfortable, had to share it. So with this guy, I don't have to share it, I don't have to look for it, and I can treat it however I want to. I picked up the fuel whenever I can. I go for fuel in the cases of my multi-tool and my vacuum. Unfortunately, I didn't see an option for it, but I always believe that fuel is the way to go. I picked this guy up for the same job as my roto hammer. I got my bit for my 3/4 pipe. I've got a demo spade bit in there, and I've also got a ground rod driver bit in there because I've since started using this thing for driving ground rods. It's a 1 9/16 SDS Max. It's corded, obviously, only way to go. I don't think that this is really a tool that you would want to use cordless. I got a lot of use out of this thing, and it's still going strong, and I really don't see it quitting anytime soon. I make sure to keep it lubricated. I run it hard, but I make sure that I'm not doing anything I shouldn't be with it. I would definitely recommend picking up one of these or better if you're going to drive ground rods. So I picked this guy up to do a side job. It was an Office TI, $350 machine, but definitely worth it. Once again, I went for the fuel, and I saw that they have the Super Hawg option. I went for standard chuck. I used a 9.0 battery on this bad boy. I have a ton of 5.0s, but I had to do it justice. It's supposed to have more power than the 15 amp corded. I haven't ran them both together to verify that, but I can say that drilling that whole office was easy. Didn't have to change bits out, didn't struggle. It was just seamless. I bought this drill as part of a set. I gave the impact to an apprentice that I had at the time. It's kind of just my backup drill. I have another 2nd gen which I unfortunately had to retire due to somebody else breaking it. This is the one that I was going to use. However, I got an updated 3rd gen impact and a 3rd gen replacement drill, so I kind of just figured I'll just use both my 3rd gens and have this guy on backup. This is the 3rd gen replacement that I got for the 2nd gen that was stolen from me. I was super thankful, super thankful, especially considering it's technically an upgrade. So yeah, this is my daily driver nowadays ever since my surge has started to give me issues. So I picked this guy up because I was moving into a commercial industrial environment. This was in my 4th year at the beginning, and I figured I would go big or go home, in the words of one of my buddies, and I am thoroughly impressed with this tool. There's nothing you can throw at it that it won't be able to handle. There was one time where, due to user error, I got the blade kind of bound up, but I fixed that easily, and since then it hasn't happened. As you can see, I always go fuel, and gotta do the tool justice, throw a 9.0 on that bad boy. When I saw that Milwaukee had the Super Sawzall in Cordless, I just couldn't resist, considering I have the Super Hawg in Cordless, and I absolutely love this thing. Obviously, it's super clean, hasn't seen a whole lot of demo, so I'm still pretty anxious to see what I can exactly do with it, but it's definitely worth what I paid for it, and it's just an absolutely beautiful tool. So this is the replacement drill that I got for the 2nd gen that's in a box in pieces. This is a 3rd gen M18 fuel, and I like it. It's definitely a fun little tool to use. I think it's actually a little more comfortable in my hand. I have smaller hands though, so your mileage may vary.